So what if everything you thought you were was actually a cage? Not a home, but a prison with these beautiful gilded bars. Today, we're going to dive headfirst into a really radical concept of identity transformation. It's called the trial of the mirror, and it's all about a journey into the abyss to forge a completely new self. Let's get started. This one line right here, it just sets the stage perfectly, doesn't it? It paints this picture of a universe that isn't freeing, but totally suffocating. A kind of celestial mausoleum where every single star is a prison. This is the problem we're starting with, a cosmic-scale lockdown that chains the self to a fixed, unchangeable destiny.
All right, so our first section is all about exploring this prison. We're going to look at what the source calls the old heavens, a reality that was built on this rigid, stagnant, and, let's be honest, suffocating idea of who you're supposed to be.
Now, what's so fascinating here is this term, the liturgy of error. It's not just a rule book, it's a ritual. It's this whole system where there's only one single authorized version of the truth, a philosophical cage that demands your total obedience. This is that gilded cage, demanding, as the text says, shivering subservience and stopping any real, meaningful growth.
And this slide, well, it really gets to the heart of the whole conflict. On one side, you've got the Apollonian order. It's safe, it's predictable, it's comfortable, but it's a prison of stagnant light. And on the other side, the Dionysian upheaval, the total chaos of the trial, which is incredibly dangerous, yeah, but it offers the only real path to freedom and, to truly becoming.
So the crucial point boils down to this. In that old world, you just weren't in control. Your identity was something that happened to you. You were basically strapped into the passenger seat of your own life, just watching a pre-written destiny unfold. The whole point of the trial of the mirror is about grabbing the wheel.
So how in the world do you break out of a cage like that? Well, if you're going to shatter a fixed identity, you need a place that's actually designed for demolition. And that brings us to the arena itself, a bizarre realm known as the liquid mirror.
Now, this isn't just a location. It's described as a lethal fluid force. The liquid mirror is this uncanny space where everything familiar becomes dangerously strange. The very boundaries that define you, they just dissolve, forcing you to constantly adapt in a reality that is, get this, actively trying to out-evolve you.
And inside this place, you have to face what's called the infinite schism. Reality itself just splinters into a million contradictory mirrors. And in that chaos, your old, stable identity, it's not a shield anymore. It's totally useless. Instead, you have to forge it into a weapon, piece by piece, from the sapphire shards of this broken reality.
And this is the truly strange logic of the mirror. In this realm, your potential is way more potent than your actuality. The reflection, what you could be, both more beautiful and way more dangerous, is somehow more real than what you are right now. Every single object projects a lethal possibility of what it could become.
Okay, so if that's the arena, what are the rules? Who's the referee in this insane game? This next section gets into the mechanics of the trial, what the source calls a nihilistic audit of the soul.
Meet the Crimson Judge. Just to be clear, this figure isn't here to save you. They are the active nihilist given flesh, a force of pure destruction whose entire job is to push what is already falling. The judge's role is to just shatter all your illusions of safety, exposing your old protectors as nothing more than jailers, all to make room for a sovereign architect to rise up.
So how does the judge measure you? Well, it's not by your morals, not by some dusty feather of a dead morality. Nope. It's by your vital intensity. This is a pure, raw measure of your will to power. It's an audit of the creative and destructive force inside of you. And it demands what's called a divine frenzy, where every single breath you take is a duel with the infinite. The objective here could not be any clearer. The whole trial is designed to take the nothingness of that passive soul, remember, the passenger of fate, and transform it into the everything of a sovereign being who literally defines their own reality. It's a path to becoming your own God.
So how is this radical transformation actually done? This brings us to the tools of the trade, the very methods used to unmake an old identity and forge a brand new one from all the broken pieces.
The process is actually pretty methodical. As you can see, it kicks off with the sonic screech, this cosmic solvent that just washes away the stains of a destiny you never chose. Then you master chaos runes, like the rune of non-correspondence, which severs every tie to your past names in your history. And finally, you become the error that corrects the truth. You reject external reality, and you assert your will as the only law, to the point where a sword can become a song, just because you say so.
And this line just perfectly captures the absolute urgency of it all. Every label, every name, every little piece of your old history is just another stone in the wall of your own tomb. You have to destroy them, actively and violently, or they are going to bury you.
Which brings us to the final outcome. I mean, what happens if you actually survive this grueling audit? What's the prize for enduring the complete unmaking of your soul? Well, the survivors are not given comfort, they're given brands. They receive the mark of the abyss, which signifies a total rejection of the old world's light. They're carved with the rune of the vertical ascent, which shifts the very gravity of their soul upward, always pushing them to greater heights of power. And their new names are recorded in the registry of the Overman, a kind of new aristocracy of the spirit. The first part of this transformation is really an end. It is the death of what Nietzsche called the last man, that comfortable, passive, weak self that only wants safety and has no great dreams. That part of you has to be completely extinguished. And then, from those ashes, something entirely new rises, the birth of the sovereign mind. An entity that doesn't just submit to reality anymore, it commands it. A being that has traded the blindfold of the sun for the piercing sight of the abyss itself.
And the most crucial takeaway here is that this is not about reaching some final destination. The ultimate state is called perpetual becoming. The survivor doesn't find peace. They accept a permanent invitation to just keep shattering their own image, to constantly overcome themselves in this endless, visceral climb.
And all of this leaves us with a final, and I think pretty provocative question. What is your own identity? Is it something fixed, a wall that you spend your whole life polishing and defending? Or is it a window? A window that could be shattered, letting you step through into the terrifying, absolute freedom of the abyss.